Hello everyone, welcome to Crydex Tech. So, Mac Mini M1 review. To cut things short, it's pretty simple. Just get this. So, one of the major advantage of the Mac Mini over the Mac and the MacBook is that you are usually in control of the budget that you spend on your setup. You can spend as little on your setup or as high as per your requirements. Also, Mac Mini is the cheapest M product that you can buy on the Apple's website. I bought this Mac Mini 2 years ago and I got it pre-owned. There wasn't much of a price difference between the original, but I definitely got a good deal on this. Before, I couldn't get the MacBook Pro 14, which I was planning to get. Because of the budget constraints, I had to get the Mac Mini. But spoiler alert, it was a good deal, and I don't regret any decision buying the Mac Mini M1. This is the base model, and we will later discuss in the video if you should upgrade any of the things as per a requirement. My primary objective with this was video recording and also light video watching and web surfing. But just to remind you, you will need to buy a monitor, keyboard, and a mouse. Camera and mic are optional. The really annoying thing when I bought this M1, I wasn't able to set up any of my accounts into this as it required an Apple keyboard and a mouse to connect it. And so you will initially need to get a wired keyboard and a mouse to set it up. Starting with the display, I have an 35 inches ultra wide 1440p display and Logitech's keyboard and mouse. I previously had a different setup with this Mac Mini which I upgraded bit by bit. Regardless of the devices, this works great on any setup, be it a budget or a high end one. I also want to touch down on some of the problems facing in the monitor resolution. As while I was using the 4K 28 inch screen, the Mac is usually running at 5K and downscaling it or downsampling it to 4K, which tacks up the GPU a bit. Now, you might not face the same problem as I did, but you should look into the resolution problem, which is a concern if you are using a 4K monitor too. That is 3840 by 2160 resolution is too cramped on a smaller screen, which can't be seen from a normal viewpoint. So I got a 1440p ultra wide monitor and now it's running on the native resolution. The Mac Mini only came with a power cord in the box and it looks great with this aluminum enclosure. The small footprint makes it best to blend on any desk space, be it a small or a big workspace. And the compact size makes it a space saving powerhouse. Coming to the port selection, it has a lot of ports to work with and it's great for productivity. Two Thunderbolt 3 ports, two USB 4.0, one HDMI 2.0, Ethernet at the back, and even a headphone jack. And after connecting some of the dongles, you will extend the port for already larger port array, which really helps if you're connecting a lot of wired accessories to the Mac. You probably don't have to throw away the USB-A ports that are lying around. Coming to the performance, this has the M1 chip at its heart, and it's a base variant with 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. It's an 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, and 16-core neural engine. It also supports demanding tasks like coding, graphic work, video editing, and photo editing. While it may not be as capable as a high end PC, this one is definitely more thermal efficient while being more silent and compact. Let's compare the Geekbench scores with M1 Pro in the MacBook Pro. As you can see in the benchmark scores, the single core is basically the same between both the machines, which is to be expected as these are both M1 series of chips, and the multi-core has a difference of 22%. Seeing the GPU system, the difference is 59%, which is the biggest gap there is between the M1 and the M1 Pro chip. You can see in the score it's not that different, but I didn't get this to run benchmarks. So talking about the video editing on this Mac, the Final Cut in M1 Mac Mini takes up to 13 minutes for a 20-minute file to export, while the MacBook Pro actually took 14.29 minutes to export the file, which is a bit weird. And I ran this twice, and it's the same case with both of them. Now, I want to justify that the video was edited on the Mac Mini, which might be the case for the lesser time to export. Final Cut runs perfectly on this. The projects usually take more than 200 GB, which makes it impossible to work, as I get the storage full dialog box while running on the internal storage. I usually use an SSD for editing, as this only has an internal of 256 GB. Even the 8 GB of RAM usually is full, and the Mac Mini uses the memory swap most of the time while on heavy load, as the SSD swapping is bad for long run. The memory swap doesn't affect the performance though. And if you're considering video editing or even say music production on this device, you have my recommendation. Just close this video and get a Mac Mini. But it's not going to make your videos or your music production better. It will just make it faster. Now, coming to the mundane activities like web surfing, YouTube, Netflix, and sometimes reading news, it gets a bit laggy. Warning, warning. Especially if I keep a lot of Chrome tabs open. I'm currently running this on macOS Sonoma, which is on beta right now, which might be the case for the lags happening throughout the software. But after updating this stable version, it has eliminated some of the lags found on Chrome and it ran perfectly on the macOS Big Sur, and there were no lags and frame drops on it. Mac Mini also introduced some Bluetooth problems when it initially launched. And macOS Sonoma doesn't solve all the issues, as while connecting to 4 or more devices, the Bluetooth starts to lag out.
A year and a half since this phone launched. So let's see if this is still worth buying in 2023. Shall we?
Which is found by many of the users online as well. So I had to be conscious about the number of devices that I'm connecting to Mac Mini via Bluetooth. I found that 3 devices is a perfect sweet spot for optimal performance. The M1 does deliver improved performance, enhanced security, and seamless integration. Most of the apps have been updated to run on the M1 architecture by now, and even the game library have been improved, but nowhere close. You can see Tomb Raider runs at 20 to 30 FPS, which isn't playable on a screen that supports 100 FPS. So I would usually stay away from all the AAA titles, as they might not support Mac as well. It does run most of the iPad apps, but they were initially meant for touchscreen and not for mouse and keyboard support. The other advantage that the Mac Mini has is the battery, or the lack of it. The Mac Mini can give you full performance without throttling all the time. And even you can see while editing a 19-minute project on this, the fans were never usually running, giving it a performance headroom for few more years down the line. And Apple has done a good job optimizing their M series of chip on the Macs. Coming to the conclusion, the Mac Mini is a beast in a compact body. Its exceptional performance is great for day-to-day tasks and even for intensive workload, which can't be said for the Intel Macs or most of the PCs out there. I also like the fact that you can set your own budget for the accessories on the Mac Mini. You can get everything from Apple, making it more expensive, or get a cheaper products from Amazon as you can upgrade them later as you go. So you can find the M1 version on Apple's refurbished website, or you can even search it in the used market. You will get this around 600 USD, which is a great deal for this device. Also, if you are considering the M2 version of the Mac Mini, it's a great deal to buy as well, as it comes around 1000 Australian dollars. If you are someone who doesn't want to invest time in buying, you can get the M1 MacBook Air as well, and you can get this for $500 more, which is also a good deal. But if you're a content creator, developer, or just someone who likes the great performance from the M1 chip, also, if you're on a budget, fine with the Bluetooth problems for not connecting more than 4 devices, and some memory swap issues, the Mac Mini M1 is a great value proposition, and you should definitely buy this as it will exceed your expectations. But if you're planning to get this for long term, you should get the 16 GB variant instead of the 8 GB. It will solve the memory swapping issues found on the 8 GB variant. Hope you have gained some insights from this video and I have helped you with your purchase decisions. That's been it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.